Hey everyone, welcome. Hey, so a couple of questions that I get asked a lot as I get ready for the Pacific Crest Trail are, oh my gosh, you're gonna quit your job? And oh my gosh, how much money does that cost? That must cost a lot. So those are variable for people, but I'm gonna go over my situation. Maybe it will help someone or at least shed some light on the situation for people. So first of all, the job. When I started looking into the Pacific Crest Trail and people being gone for long periods of time, I wondered how they did it too. I'm like, they just quit their job? That just seems so wild and crazy. And not everyone does. Not everyone has to quit a job. Some people's companies will hold a job for them. In my case, I am going to be quitting my job, which is okay to me. There was a time in my life where it wasn't okay. And again, I just thought that was super wild and crazy that people would just quit to go do something like this. But the more I thought about it and had a desire to do it, it's really an economic decision in and of itself. And the value of quitting my job and going and hiking this hike far outweighs staying home and collecting a paycheck. So for me, that's a no-brainer. That is, and again, it's an economic decision for me. Costs. There are costs involved, from gear to your fixed costs, things that will still happen whether you stand there and do nothing or complete the hike. And then there's costs on the trail. So I'm just briefly going to kind of go over what that looks like for me. Again, maybe it will be helpful to someone else. So I first took a look at my fixed costs before I go. What are some static things that are going to cost me money? Again, whether I just stand there and do nothing or hike the hike. So health insurance. I'm going to be doing Cobra, and it's not necessarily cheap, and it depends. It varies person to person. But I have that fixed cost, monthly cost, for the 6 months. I will have my cell phone. That is a monthly cost, fixed cost for me. My satellite service will also be a monthly fixed cost for me. My car insurance is a monthly fixed cost, but what I'm doing there is I am putting it on hold, basically, like kind of putting it on vacation, and it is a really reduced cost. It's still going to cost me something, but it's really minimal. So there's no point in paying the full monthly cost if I'm not going to be driving. So there's that. I am going to keep a couple other things like my gym membership because it's only $10 a month, and maybe one or two other things like that. But again, that cost for me is around $4,500 for 6 months if I just go and stand there and do nothing else. So that's what it looks like for me. And again, that's going to vary person to person. So my costs on the trail, and again, this varies, and you can always hope for one thing, but what it looks like in the end is probably going to be completely different. But I'm thinking it's going to be around $15 to $18 a day. And when you break that down, it actually ends up being about $1 a mile, and that's for food, mostly food, and maybe anything else that you do. But if you kind of figure that, you'd stay right in the ballpark, and you have to be mindful of that because you can kind of lose yourself, a day in town, a 0 day or something. You can kind of lose yourself in town and, just kind of feel wild and free and go spend money on stuff. So I'm going to try and be really mindful of that so I can stay within the cost that I would like to maintain. But again, it does cost money, but to me, the whole thing, the value of doing this whole entire thing far outweighs staying home and doing nothing. And I am not going to be worried about it. I have faith, and God has always provided for me, and jobs will always be popular. So when I come home, I'll just get another job. And that's kind of the way my approach and the way I'm looking at it, because again, the value that I'm going to get out of this far outweighs sitting, in an office or doing a job, at least for me. That is different for everyone. But anyway, I wanted to share that with you, and hopefully that helps some of you in your planning or, make some decisions. Have a great day.